Hello, everyone. This is Reb Brad, and you're listening to the podcast From the Touchline, a production of Soccer Chaplains United. I recently had occasion to visit Cambridge, England, and while I was there, I was interested to learn a unique piece of football history. Apparently, the first known instance of codifying, or writing down, the rules of association football, or what we Yankees call soccer, happened in Cambridge. Story goes that in 1848, a group of Cambridge University students wrote out a set of 11 rules, and they nailed these to the trees surrounding Parker's Peace, a large grassy park in the heart of central Cambridge. Today's rules of the games have evolved and changed, but it's interesting to go back and see how these Cambridge rules had an impact on the beautiful game. For the next several weeks, we're going to talk through the original football rules and talk about some parallel spiritual life lessons. Stay tuned. We take a look at this week's rule in a moment.
He's found the space, and he's found the back of the net.
Just a little off foot, thinking he's going to go far post. Not strong enough with his right hand.
Whips that one in. Far post, almost made him in, and they have. He has the hat-trick. The second in his career. The third of the night. The hat-trick hero.
Talked about you're not going to be able to sustain that kind of pressure.
To the corner, goes towards the near post, and you're the angle, and what a goal! What a goal!
Cambridge rule number 2. At the commencement of the play, the ball shall be kicked off from the middle of the ground. After every goal, there shall be a kickoff in the same way. Well, I'm impressed, as it seems that today's rule squeezes 2 rules into one. Here is one of the Cambridge rules that we still see in force today, with the start, midpoint of the match, and each goal restart happening from the middle of the pitch. Today, the center is protected by a 10-yard radius circle, and midfield line which prevents the opposing team from closing in until the ball is actually kicked off. There are a couple threads of analogy I think we could explore with this second Cambridge rule, and the first is this: the value of a restart point. Think about it. The starting point of the ball at the beginning of each half is really the only guaranteed position in the game, other than when a goal is scored for or against you. Consider the importance and value of having a start and restart point in life. You might be enjoying a success or surviving a failure. I think we need a place, in the midst of the match, in the midst of life, where we can settle, refocus, and resume the task or challenge that lies ahead. But not only is the starting point an important value, but even the nature of the central position, I think this holds significant meaning as well. You know, there's other games which are begun at the midpoint. Basketball, hockey, these sports come to mind to name a few. But the midpoint offers the athlete and team a proximity to see the place of success, i.e. the goal at the other end of the field, and also a relative distance from the point that they have to defend. There's a sort of neutrality to advantage and disadvantage with having the restart point in the middle of the field. As a footballer or manager, think of your own restart points and places. Where do you go after a long season, whether that season was successful or not? Is there a restart point where you're looking for a team, a contract? Do you go home during an injury or rehabilitation? I think it helps us to have places that are safe, places that are protected, where we can, quote-unquote, try again. We can restart a career or another kind of life moment. We can collectively catch our breath, get a little distance from the opponent and forces that keep coming against us. Jesus himself did this. There are several points in Scripture where we see him in a solitary place, a type of middle ground. Whether it was a mountainside or a remote place, he would go to these places to pray, to be refreshed, to be renewed, to kind of get away from the crowds and everything, and just be ready for the new challenge, the new task that might lie ahead in his life. Perhaps you and I need to develop out a sense of creating this kind of restart point in our own lives. Maybe think through the season and the rhythm that you have as a footballer, as a manager, maybe as a staffer, even for those of us that are chaplains. You know the points when a restart might be warranted. Maybe you achieve a sales number or a certain number of tickets sold. and you take a day off to go for a hike. Maybe you give an off day for your staff that allows them to attend to life and family matters after an intense period. Maybe as a footballer, you have a certain getaway prior to joining up for a season or immediately after a season ends. Having a centering point where we can settle, take a breath, focus on the goal ahead, and readying ourselves for the rest of a challenge ahead can be a great lesson out of this Cambridge rule of 1848.